introduce you my colleague Julia.
And I would like to introduce you to Anatoly.
Today we'll be traveling through different regions of Russia. Our country is immense, right?
Yes, that's true. We have 11 time zones, more than 185 ethnic groups, and also 150 languages are spoken in our country.
That is correct. And apart from traveling, we will also be trying some local delights of every region we will be visiting. So let's get started. And the first region we are going to visit is the Russian north. Now, this region consists of 4 parts: Karelia, Murmansk, the Komi Republic, and one more part that we will be talking in detail about.
And the symbol of the northern region of Russia is this beautiful reindeer.
And this here is the Barents Sea, the pearl of the north of Russia.
And of course, in the north we can't miss Murmansk, which is famous as a city from the end of the 19th century. It has a non-frozen port and the biggest port above the North Pole. Of course, in Murmansk you can also find our famous, the first icebreaker, atomic icebreaker Lenin, which is now is worked as a museum, so we can find out what is hidden inside it. And of course, in the north we can't forget the aurora borealis, the beautiful natural phenomenon. It is said that if you see aurora borealis, your life will be colorful and joyful.
Yes, obviously we cannot miss our trip that we did last month. Yes, it is only for the bravest and for the most adventurous. And after that snowmobile trip, we had a beautiful, typical northern Russian dinner.
Which is?
It consisted of the fish soup called ukha and the vodka, obviously, you know, to get warm. And let me tell you a couple of words about ukha. It is a famous Russian fish soup. It consists of 5 different types of fish.
5, not only 1.
Correct. The fishermen used to add 5 or more different types of fish.
And of course, in the north we can't help but meet our friendly animals, like these reindeers. Just look at them.
Yeah, they are so cute indeed.
Yes, the true symbols of the north. And not only the reindeers, but also huskies are famous in the northern region.
Yes, once I remember I took a husky trip with my friends. That was really cool.
Yes, of course it was cool. And you know that husky not only bring fun and joy, but they also bring help to the local tributes, because sometimes they were an only way of transportation.
That is amazing. And just let me add a couple of words about the traditional meal that we also encountered there. This is herring with potatoes. You know that locals used to eat herring since the ancient times, and then when potatoes appeared, they just added potatoes to herring and created this wonderful, splendid dish. Correct. And now we are on Solovki Island. That is a group of islands famous for its old monastery. You know that it was founded in the 13th century.
No, I didn't know that. It's impressive.
Yeah, that is true. And also we should mention the saddest part of history of this archipelago that is connected with Solzhenitsyn, because he wrote the famous Gulag novel right about this place.
Yes, that's true. And you know that he won a Nobel Prize for that book.
Yeah, that's correct. He is one of not many writers of Russia who did it.
Yeah, that's true. And I see that now we already are in Karelia, a famous region of 1,000 islands. And here you can see one of the biggest plain waterfalls in all Europe. And also, of course, Kizhi. You can't miss the Kizhi. All wooden churches and houses from all the north of Russia was kept here on one island. And can you imagine? They all are built without any nail.
I cannot believe that.
Yes.
And also, let us tell a couple of words about this particular Karelian dish. Well, you know that there are many kinds of pies across Russia.
Yes, that's true.
But a Karelian pie is distinct for its filling. And you know, I think that every person should try it at least once in their lifetime.
I will believe you.
And also, when we are in the north of Russia, it's worth mentioning the Manpupunor.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a great name.
Yeah, it sounds like a fairy tale, and it is indeed a fairy tale. When you come there, you would absolutely admire those gorgeous ancient pillars. You know, they only admit not more than 1,000 people
Wow.
every year, just to
For what reason?
just to preserve this
Oh, to keep
beautiful
it safe.
nature. Correct.
And of course, we're in the north, we can't miss the Vala Arm, a unique place which has, can you believe it, its unique climate zone, like
Wow.
in the north.
Like in the very north of
Yes,
Russia.
in the very north, in the center of the north, even watermelons can grow there. And Valam itself, like it's a complex of ancient monasteries, which are still functioning, like you can see now.
Yeah, that is impressive. And also, I think we should mention the pickled cabbage, you know, in
Sure.
Russia. Yeah,
We love all pickled.
yeah, that is absolutely correct. And this pickled cabbage is cooked along to a very famous Karelian recipe. And you know, it's also distinct from other kinds of pickled cucumbers, pickled tomatoes, etc. And I think this traditional Karelian dish is also very tasty. And now we'll be going to a much warmer place, that is the south of Russia.
Finally, some time for sun and beaches.
That's correct. And let's start with Crimea. And now we are in the south of Russia, you know, this beautiful region with lots and lots
Incredible.
of palaces. Do you know that people used to live here from the very ancient times,
Wow,
from the
it's
3rd
very
century?
old.
Yes, and also, as far as I remember, there is a very tragic love story connected with this region, right?
Yes, I have noticed the Swallow Castle, yes, on the first of our first picture, yes, the famous Russian tragic love story.
Yeah, and now we are already in Ingushetia, the next region of our trip.
It's Russian Caucasus, right?
Yeah, correct. That is the Mount of Caucasus with these beautiful blue
Amazing
lakes, just
nature.
like blue eyes, right here at the very top of a mountain. Yeah, and I mean, just look at this.
Wow.
This is just a spot of traditional culture.
I wish I could dance like that.
Well, I think you could, but
Oh.
the truth is that it's really, really difficult and people
Yes.
train for a long
I
time.
can believe that.
And this here is the city of the dead. Yeah, it's one of the oldest places on earth, and that is the truth. People used to live here like in the Bronze century
Wow,
even.
it's incredible, really.
And let us also say a couple of words about the traditional meal we
Yes.
have here.
What do we have here?
Wow, it looks absolutely fantastic and seducing, I would say.
Yes, you're
And
right.
now we have this Russian barbecue known as shashlik, right?
Yes, it
It
is.
goes along with vegetables, tomatoes, cucumbers, and a small shot of a good cognac. No?
No, I think I would stick to my Crimean champagne.
Wow, okay.
And now we have moved to Elbrus, you know, that is the highest mountain in all Europe. Now it attracts people for its skiing or snowboarding. Real great for some sports events.
Looks gorgeous. I would do it.
Yes, I'm sure you would. And also we can see the Archis Observatory, one of the biggest observatories in the Europe.
I've never visited an observatory in my life.
You should, definitely should.
Yeah, and here, as I see, we are already in Sochi, those gorgeous mountains and
Incredible.
beautiful, beautiful views. Yes, many people come here in winter to ski and in summer, you know, to have a rest on a beach. And also Sochi is a famous sports capital
Yes, now it's a
because
sports
the
capital.
Olympic Games were held right there. And also I think we should taste the local cheese, the famous
Let's have a little
dish
break.
there. So let's have a break and watch the Cossacks dance.
Бойся ты, ойся, ты меня не бойся, я тебя не трону, ты не беспокойся. Дайте мне кинжал большой, дайте ножик вильку, я поеду на Кавказ танцевать лезгинку. Ойся ты, меня не бойся, я трону, ты не беспокойся.
And now we are in the far east of Russia. Here we are going to visit two beautiful places, Vladivostok and Kamchatka.
You know that now we're closer to Asia than to Europe.
Oh, that's very good. And of course, this here is the symbol of this gorgeous region. So let's go. And now we are in Kamchatka, the region of the far east of Russia.
And we also will be traveling to Vladivostok here, which is which is famous for its bridges, incredible bridges.
Yeah,
there are lots of them
looks
there.
really impressive.
Yes, of course, Vladivostok is also famous for its nature. It's all the region is famous for. And Vladivostok, which is interesting, is the last station, the last part of the famous Trans-Siberian journey. That a lot of people,
I've heard about
here
that
we can
journey.
see the railway station.
Yeah, that's really great. And well, I think I have already visited this place. I was really amazed by how close it is to the seashore.
Yes,
it was
it's
really
very
amazing. Yeah, and I also remember the sturgeon, you know, the famous fish. And that is the capital of the region, the city of Petropavlovsk-Kamchatsky. And these are the crabs. I have taken this video when I was there, yes. And you know, the main dishes of the region are really expensive. They are crabs, oysters, shrimps, fish, of course.
So that is why we're using our imagination.
That is correct. And obviously we should say a couple of words about the, you know, geysers and famous geysers of Kamchatka. They were enlisted in the UNESCO Heritage List. Therefore, they are known all over the world.
What can I see here? Famous Russian bear.
Correct.
Right?
Indeed, if you really want to see a bear, you should come to Kamchatka. It's the easiest place on earth to find these really cute animals. I've been there and I've watched them from the distance of like 10...
From the distance, it's
from
the most important part. Yes?
But from like 10 meters, it was really, really cool. Look at them. So nice. And now we are moving to Siberia, one of the biggest regions of our country, where the world-famous Baikal Lake is located.
And apart from the Baikal Lake, we also will visit the Altai, the Russian Shambhala.
Let's not miss any time. Let's go. And here we are in Irkutsk, one of the biggest and main cities of Siberia. Well, you know, Irkutsk is obviously famous for the Baikal Lake, but also it is a historic place. Many people were here in the old times, and actually the city, as I know, maybe you would correct me, it was founded by the Decembrists.
Yes, that's right, because, you know, in Russia we started to explore Siberia in the 16th century.
And also we see that the old religions are still alive here. This is the shaman.
Yes, absolutely true. And, you know, one of the main places of power for such shamans, of course, is Lake Baikal.
Yes, obviously, the Grand Lake Baikal, the biggest and the deepest. It is, I think, known by everyone.
All around the world.
Yeah, correct. And also Lake Baikal is abundant with different sorts of fish. There are some also kinds of fish that are peculiar to this particular lake. They only live in Baikal. For example, salmon that we have on our table is obviously living in Baikal. And also, what do we have here?
So what is that?
Do you know what this salad consists of?
I will try. As far as I know, it's like a herring under fur.
That is correct.
So it has some of layers. The first layer, of course, it's herring itself. And then we have some vegetables, the carrot and...
Yeah, that is called the fur, the carrot and beetroot. Yeah, you know, in Siberia it's very cold, therefore we need to warm even the herring.
Wow. And of course the Lake Baikal is also extremely beautiful during the winter too, with its crystal clear ice and these beautiful, very cute seals.
Wow.
Little seals.
Yeah, so cute, yeah.
Just look at him.
And also, we must talk also about another region in Siberia that is Ulan-Ude, the capital of Buryatia region. Buryatia is, just like another area of Russia, but they have their own religion, their own traditions.
Russia is so multicultural.
That is absolutely true. Russia is immense, and there are so many things to discover.
We can see it right here, the Yakutia.
Oh, yes.
The region of Yakutia. Immense, truly immense.
I've heard that Yakutia is the biggest region of Russia, and its size is equal to the size of Argentina.
Wow, it's incredible.
And also we should talk about this diamond minery where they actually found the biggest diamond in Russia. It was in 1980, and it is still the record holder.
Wow, it's incredible.
Yeah, and look at this. This is sometimes referred to as the capital of Siberia.
And which is it?
The city of Krasnoyarsk, obviously. And since we are in Krasnoyarsk, I think it's high time for us to talk about the food, the local food that we tried here when we were in Krasnoyarsk. I'm obviously referring to pelmeni.
Russian famous pelmeni.
Right, and let us also see the
Lena River, right? The Krasnoyarsk is on the Lena River.
Right, and the pillars, the ancient pillars that were here from the very old times, and they are also the part of UNESCO heritage.
But it's not surprising.
Well, obviously, their length is, just think about it, 200 kilometers.
Wow. This is Altai, am I right? Just incredible, marvelous place, truly marvelous.
Absolutely, such colorful
Russian
place.
Shambhala.
And so now I think it's high time for us to have something to eat. And these
after visiting lots of regions in Siberia.
The famous Siberian pelmeni, the things that have meat inside, which keeps the locals strong and healthy.
They surely need it.
Yeah, so let's enjoy our meal. And now we are in the central part of Russia. We'll be visiting these cities that are located along the famous Volga River.
Yes, the Volga River is the longest river in all Europe. And of course it is extremely important now, and was more important in the ancient times because it was like the only way of transportation where there were no roads.
Correct, so let's go. And the first city of central Russia we are visiting is Astrakhan. It is located on the river Volga, of course, just like other cities. And it's important to mention that all cities in central Russia located along the river Volga were merchant capitals. So only merchants lived there, well, mainly merchants. And also you can see the natural beauty of the river Volga. These are the lotus fields. Yeah, and I think it is particularly important because these flowers can only be found in this Astrakhan region.
And now I can see it's my native city.
Oh,
yes,
really?
It's Volgograd. Impressive. Yes, mother. And a lot of people know Volgograd as Stalingrad.
Ah, yes.
Yes, important city of the Second World War. Here you can see the monuments, like the places of this war. And you know that the Volgograd was completely destroyed, and they didn't want to build it. But then they decided to do it. They rebuilt the city, just so it will be the monument. And
so they completely rebuilt the whole city?
Yes, completely rebuilt the whole city as a monument to the strength of our people.
Wow, that is absolutely impressive. And now we are moving to Kazan, the Muslim capital of Russia. And here you can see the mosque and these beautiful buildings here. I must say that Kazan has got a very distinct culture. That is the Tatar region, the capital of this region.
And different religion, right?
Right, different religion. And also they have their own language. And this mosque is the main mosque of Russia, as it is considered by many.
A lot of cultures in one city.
Yeah,
right?
so let us talk a bit about the food we have here.
And I can see the blini, our traditional Russian dessert.
It is.
And what is that?
And this is called chak-chak. I brought it from Kazan. Do you know that chak-chak consists of small bits of baked dough with honey?
With honey, wow.
It's really delicious, so you must taste it.
I can't Can't wait to taste it, really.
Oh, and by the way, this here is my native city. This is Nizhny Novgorod. You can see the stadium built for the FIFA World Cup.
I have noticed a lot of stadiums in
That's
these cities,
correct.
right?
Yeah, Nizhny stands on the confluence of two great rivers, the Volga and the Oka. And also there are lots of monuments and churches there. And you know that Nizhny Novgorod Fair was the most important event for all merchants. And Nizhny was
very
even
old city.
Yeah, yeah, right. And this, I think this is borscht, right?
Yes, borscht. I have noticed sour cream. That,
Uh-huh.
yes, we already had it with pelmeni.
Uh-huh.
But as you know, it's very delicious to put it into different soups too.
Wow, I didn't
Yes,
know that.
Yes, you should try it.
And this here, yeah, this here was the golden ring of Russia, the very heart of our nation. Yeah, I think it is absolutely necessary for everyone who visits Moscow to go to the golden ring just to, you know, understand the Russian culture better.
Yes, like, to find the real ancient Russia.
Uh-huh. And this here is the national dance, the most traditional one.
Yes, you know, it's a festival of folk dances, which
Uh-huh.
is held annually in these small cities that stand on the river Volga,
Oh,
so that we can keep and preserve our culture.
oh, that's very nice indeed. And what do we have here on our table? Well, I see pickled cucumbers. You remember, yes?
Yes, we had pickled cabbage.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, right.
We love everything pickled indeed.
Yeah, that is correct. And now we have the pies, also the most traditional Russian dish you can find. These are, I can see pies with eggs and green onion. So let's try it. And now we are going to Moscow and St. Petersburg, the two capitals of our great country.
Yes, Moscow is the real capital and St. Petersburg is a cultural capital of Russia.
Correct, so let's get started. Now we are in Moscow, the capital of our great country. You know, Moscow is sometimes called the melting pot of Russia.
Wow, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
because in Moscow you can find a little bit of every region of
Yes,
our country.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah, obviously everybody knows the Moscow Kremlin, the very center of our nation,
The heart.
the
of
heart
Russia.
of our nation, right, and also the diamond fund where Russian tsars and emperors used to store their diamonds. And yeah, these are obviously the most unique places and the most famous places all over the world. And what do we have in Moscow for lunch? I think we have the Olivier salad.
Olivia.
It was named after a French chef. He was the one who created it in the 19th century. And now I think it's very popular in every family, no?
Yes, it's curious that it was invented by French but is known all around the world as Russian salad. Because
Yeah.
it's a really typical Russian dish. We used to make it at the New Year. It's like a symbol of the New Year.
Yeah, correct. And here we can see also the most modern parts of Moscow.
Truly vibrant city, right?
It never sleeps, they say. And when you come to Moscow, it's really impossible to, you know, to get enough of the city.
Yes, that's true.
You always want to see more and more and discover places because they are so numerous.
Yes.
You just can't stop doing that. Those beautiful monuments.
Of Peter the Great. Yes. But you know, it is considered to be the ugliest sculpture.
Wow,
Yes,
really?
really the ugliest sculpture.
And this is the belly, I think, no?
Yes, our famous Russian ballet, incredible moves of ballerinas,
Wow.
soft moves.
That
It's
is-
really incredible. How do they do that, right?
Yeah, I think that's a trademark of Russia in some sort of sense.
Yes,
because
it's true.
yeah, many people come to Russia specifically to see the ballet in Moscow and in St. Petersburg.
In Moscow at the Bolshoi Theatre, I
Yeah,
believe. It's
yeah.
the famous one. And this recording particularly was made in the Mariinsky Theatre.
Mm.
It's also very famous, extremely. And the Mariinsky Theatre is in St. Petersburg.
Oh.
And now, yes, we're moving to
Yeah,
our cultural
This
capital.
is St. Petersburg. Yeah, I can see from the very first shot.
Yeah, surely the city of rivers and canals, the Neva River.
Uh-huh.
the most important river, a lot of cathedrals, extremely
Yeah.
impressive
The
cathedrals.
northern Venice of Russia,
Yes,
as they
true.
usually call it.
Indeed.
And what do we have here for lunch when we are in St. Petersburg? Oh, I think we have smelt.
Yes, you're absolutely right. It's like
Uh-huh.
the spring fish.
Oh,
Very traditional St. Petersburg meal. And
mhm.
also, I'm curious if you know what is that.
No, I don't. It looks like meat.
Yes, it is meat. It's beef stroganoff.
Wow.
As you know, the Duke Stroganoff, he
Uh-huh.
had a lot of guests and he had so few ingredients in
Okay.
his house, so he just tried to put this meat in different little slices and
Wow.
put some sauce that he invented, so it looked like it is more meat in this sauce. But thanks to him, we now have this incredible meal,
Wow,
beef
that is-
stroganoff. Yes,
That
it's
is a
truly
very
delicious.
impressive story. Yeah, that is really, really great. So I think now
It's nice, St.
the
Petersburg.
evening is here and it's time for us to have a small glass of wine with these
Yes.
beautiful dishes.
Views.
Views.
Views and yes, views and dishes, of course.
Yeah. And this is the famous festival called Scarlet Sails, which is a part of the White Nights of St. Petersburg.
The graduation, right?
Yes. So it was our trip through the main Russian regions, and as you have seen, we have visited many beautiful places, and not only natural places, but also
Yes, we try to show you that we not only have nature, we not only have monuments, we have everything like history, culture, eco tours, adventure tours, everything you would like. You can find everything in Russia.
yes, so please welcome to Russia, and we will be happy to offer you even more. Okay, so as we say in Russian,
На
на здоровье.